looking live at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where Nebraska is looking to mess with Texas in a championship matchup that has its history of upsets in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship on ABC. For the Longhorns, folks, the stakes are sky high. No margin for error tonight, while the Husker Nation attempts to throw the college football world into a frenzy with an upset. And we've already had one upset today, and that, of course, in the SEC championship game. Number 2 knocking off number 1, 32-13. So now Bama will move to the BCS championship game. And we will solve the rest of the puzzle, but maybe we won't. Because if Nebraska stages an upset for the ages, folks, all bets are off. It'll go to the computers. Trust me. But, Herbie, what about the way Alabama played today?
What an amazing effort, group effort. It starts with Nick Saban, both his coordinators. They just not only outplayed Florida, but they dominated the game. They outcoached Florida, and they were the hungrier team. So now, as you said, it comes down to this, the final piece. If Texas wins, they advance, and if they lose, let the games begin.
And one of the great offensive players of the year, Colt McCoy, leads Texas here tonight.
We've seen Colt McCoy doing it in Austin now for 4 years, and this is an opportunity for, I think, him to really step out and really make a statement. We've seen him with the accuracy, and right now I think he's playing as well as he's played all year. A huge game last week against Texas A&M with his mobility and, of course, the intangibles that he brings to the table.
Let's go! Hey, our time tonight! This is our house! From the very beginning, let's go! Let's go! Come on!
And Brett, that's the area that I think really he's begun to settle down, not worry about the pressure of getting to this moment. Now he's just playing in the last 4 or 5 games. So in my opinion, he comes into this game playing his best football of the year.
There is a roadblock. Where's number 93? And Ndamukong Suh of Nebraska. What a year he's had.
And Ndamukong Suh is the most dominant defensive lineman in all of college football. And of course he has the great size. But I think the one thing that stands out is the combination of the speed and the quickness and the power to go along with that. The coaches say his awareness is probably as good as they've seen, almost like a linebacker, has great instincts, but there's the quickness. You can see how quickly he gets off and has a chance to make a play in the open field. So Suh's going to have to be able to step up. For Nebraska to compete tonight, their defense has to get their offense the ball in a short field.
And as Kenny Chesney will tell you, tonight for Nebraska or Texas, this will be their moment. John, Texas coach Mack Brown in his 4th Big 12 championship game. Bo Pelini, his Nebraska counterpart, though, comes here for the first time to see if he can lead the Cornhuskers to a title. Mad Dog Madsen leads the Horns out. This has been the Nissan pregame shift. Kickoff for Texas and Nebraska. Coming up next. Well, the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship is the last stop along the drive to the National Championship. They'll be playing for the Coaches Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper out in Pasadena. And already you see the Crimson Tide has qualified to be one of the teams. And let's go down to referee Tom Walker now for the coin toss.
Guest tonight flipping the coin for us, Tim Millis, longtime NFL official, former coordinator of officials for the Big 12 Conference, and next week being inducted to the National College Foundation Hall of Fame as an official, will be flipping the coin for us tonight. Thank you, Tim. Texas, you're the visitor. What's your call? Tails. Tom, tails is called. Tim, tails. Heads, Nebraska, you win. What's your choice? You want to defer? Nebraska wins. Defers, second half. Get the ball. Where do you want to defend? Want to kick that way? Come over here. Texas, over here.
Let's go down to Coach Mack Brown with Lisa Salters and find out about the Horns on offense to begin the game.
Thank you very much, Brent. Well, Mac, everybody in the building including your players, knows that Alabama is waiting for you in Pasadena. How do you make sure that your players don't overlook that team on the other sideline that's waiting for them tonight?
Our goal from this time last year was to get here and win the Big 12 championship, and it has not changed. And we understand we're guaranteed nothing after tonight unless we win.
Now, I know that Colt McCoy does not like to talk about personal accolades, but I know that you would like to see him win the Heisman. What personal advice did you give him before coming out here tonight?
Great players step up on the big stage, and when you've won 44 games, you just need to be yourself.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, and of course, Bo Pelini, defensive specialist on the other side. Coached with linebackers and secondaries in the National Football League, played safety himself at Ohio State, and was the defensive coordinator when LSU won the national championship. And because Florida lost earlier today, the nation's longest winning streak belongs to Texas at 16. TCU, one of those teams, pulling for BCRS chaos. In other words, it's spelled Nebraska. Nebraska, that's the team they're rooting for. If you're a Cincinnati or a TCU fan and you want to get to Pasadena, you want Ndamukong Suh and the Cornhuskers to come through. The young man who will kick it off is from right here nearby Fort Worth. Ade Kanalik has the ball on the tee, and Marquise Goodwin and Malcolm Williams will be back deep for the Horns. The stadium that has set a new standard for stadiums in this country, and we are underway. And it'll come out on the 20-yard line. And so, Herbie, here comes Colt McCoy, and I was impressed, as I think you were, with the emergence of Trey Newton as the running back for the Horns the other night.
Yeah, he did a lot in that game against Texas A&M, but it all, of course, starts with Colt McCoy and his ability, I think, to make quick decisions. Brandon, talking to him this week, he has more confidence right now in his group of wide receivers and the way they've grown up around Jordan Shipley that I think it's allowed him to just settle down and go out and just play football and have a lot of fun doing it and having a lot of confidence along the way.
Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, will check out the secondary's coverage here, the opening series. They're going to throw right up. Kirkendall dropped it. That's incomplete. The line judge with the call. Anu Kamara, number 21, was the corner coming up quickly on number 11.
Personal foul, chop block, offense number 71. At the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
A very good center guilty, Chris Hall, and he's from also nearby Irving, Texas, a senior, and he's made a lot of all Big 12 teams.
It's interesting that you have your guard and Huey locked up there with Ndamukong Suh, the best defensive tackle in college football, and early Texas trying to send a message to Suh where they're trying to take him out. That time they got caught for it.
That shuttle pass on the inside to Newton. Newton breaks free. A first down at the 36-yard line, stealing a page from Tim Tebow for 25 yards.
Here's Ndamukong Suh right here, and one way to slow down an aggressive defense early, a little bit of a screen or a draw. They get the ball to Newton in the open field. The defensive line gets upfield in a hurry. Great way to slow down that Nebraska front four.
Keeping it deflected, could be intercepted. It is picked off at the 40-yard line. The deflection sent it up in the air, and Nebraska with the first turnover of the game as Eric Hagg comes down with it, a junior corner from Arizona.
And give Pierre Allen, the defensive end, a lot of credit. This Nebraska defensive line, this is exactly what they have to do. If you can't get penetration and get to Colt McCoy, knock the ball down. And that time Allen did that, and a very, very good job of being aware by Hagg to come up with a crucial interception for Nebraska.
Zach Lee under center for the Huskers. And he hands off to Roy Hellu, his junior running back from Danville, California. This is the kind of game we expect to see. As far as Nebraska is concerned, they'll try to shorten the game. Herbie, obviously, they're going to run the ball. They're going to try to keep that clock moving. First downs are very important. This is not an explosive offensive team.
This is so far textbook for Nebraska. Get a turnover, get a short field to work with for their offense. It's a power offense, a little bit one-dimensional, but they do have the ability to throw play-action pass downfield.
Rex Burkhead. Draw with Burkhead, the backup I-back, short of that first down.
For Bo Pelini and Nebraska Cornhuskers, this is exactly what the blueprint to this football game is. They realize they've got to win in the small areas, win the turnover margin, special teams, field position has to give them an advantage. They've got to work with a short field, and when they get the short field, they have to take advantage of it.
Legate is the fullback, and Burkhead stays in on third and short. He'll follow the fullback, has to battle back, and the Horn defense, very stout in the middle, would not let him sniff the first down. Lamar Houston and Sam Acho coming up with the stop. So it's number 81 of the Acho brothers. The other one reversed the number. That's Emmanuel. He's number 18.
Big call here early for Bo Pelini in Nebraska.
Look who came in.
Absolutely.
Dominican Sue to lead this on 4th down and 1. Here we go. Burkhead stays in. Behind Dominican. Cut back. It's going to be very close. It's going to depend on the spot. I don't think he got it if that spot that I'm looking at is where they're going to put the football. With a second effort, he spun free, but they may have already had it down. Houston down there in the bottom of it. Very close on 4th down and 1. Remember the yellow line that you have the pleasure of watching. That's an unofficial mark. Generally, it's right on the money, we should add, but in this instance, we'll just let them come and measure.
Tremendous effort by Texas's defensive front there on those last 3 plays.
Texas football. Herbie, what did you think of his strategy here to run power 3 consecutive times?
3 straight times. It's their identity. It's who they are. But the problem is they have not faced a defensive front as talented as Texas all year long. You have to go throughout this game and break some tendencies if you want to have a chance of being successful of moving the football. Looks like they're going to check this spot through replay to see if he maybe got shortchanged a bit on the spot.
It all depends on where they whistled it down. I saw the back spin off, and he would have made it, but it may have been whistled dead. So the replay people upstairs off to our left up here are now taking a look at it, the Big 12 officials, and that's our referee, Tom Walker. Interestingly enough,
I think, Brent, one of the things that they might be taking a look at is on that 3rd and 4th effort, it looked like he landed on a Nebraska defender, but he didn't touch the surface himself, and he kept fighting for extra yards, and it looked like he eventually extended the ball across the first down line. Maybe that's what they're looking. They have to take a closer look at that.
I'm only chuckling because Bo Pelini doesn't have to look very far in this stadium to find a replay board. Right above him is the largest television screen in the world. And it just shows you what kind of a television set you can buy for $40 million. Unbelievable.
After further review, the ball will be placed on the 31-yard line and remeasured.
Here we come.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
And also, when we heard that one replay, I did not really hear a distinctive whistle in there. So it's going to be very, very critical on the remeasurement. And, Max said, what are you kidding me? This, I should point out about the replay officials here, kind of interesting. This is the first time that they've worked with high definition equipment up there. And I said, you guys are going to love that. And they said, you got that right. So we have
based on that spot, Brent, that's a first down.
And now it's time for the other side to cheer.
Brent, again, I think it's worth repeating that he landed on a defender, but he never touched the ground, and that's why they went upstairs to take a look. How about an appreciation for the effort by Burkhead? See right there, he is still up. The play is still alive, and they had initially spotted him thinking that he was down when he landed on the defender right there, but he kept working to get the first down. That's a good call.
So Lee and Roy Hello will be his eye back here on first down. They have found out how stout the line is. Incomplete on his first pass. He was aiming for Ben Cotton, a tight end. And let us check in tonight for the first time with Matt Weiner. Matt. And here it is, 2nd and 10 for the Huskers. Hello behind the left side, the veteran side of the Cornhuskers line. And Herbie, let's take a look at the Dr. Pepper impact players.
Well, they have a great combination in the backfield. It's led by Roy Halou, number 10. You're going to see him tonight probably get the ball 25 times. Now, interesting, we put Alex Henry as a punter up there. 6 punts last week against Colorado, averaged 51 yards, 4 of them inside the Colorado 20. He needs a huge night. And, of course, Ndamukong Suh has got to be able to do what they did the first time out, and that is create turnovers to give their offense that's somewhat limited a short field to work with, which is exactly what they've done here in this first possession.
3rd and 7 for Zach Lee. Going to throw it. Got one-on-one down the near side, end zone, and waved off. They say that the receiver, Brandon Kinney, the sophomore from Kansas City, out of bounds.
This ball is thrown to the outside shoulder. It's pretty good coverage. Kenny gets off the line pretty quickly, but the ball is thrown out of bounds, and Kenny really, because of the coverage, has no room at all to work there.
You talked about Henry the punter. Now let's talk about him as a field goal specialist. He has hit 4 of his last 5. 46 is his long for this season. But he hit a 57-yarder in Lincoln against Colorado. This for 45 yards on the money. Is it long enough? And he has put him ahead. Alex Henry, who will punt and kick field goals and extra points here tonight, puts him up by 3. Now watch this hole, Herbie.
Wow. Get the ball down. Henry didn't lose his focus.
Oh, doesn't the Pittsburgh youngster wish that he had stayed with it and got it down? What a tough way to lose. We've got a timeout. Well, 96 right there in the back deserves a lot of credit for the hold he put down, Herbie. It's Brett Maher. He's a redshirt freshman, a walk-on from Kearney, Nebraska, and he did the job, got it down for him.
Give him an assist, and along with Pierre Allen, who created the interception by Hag with that deflection.
Kanalik has a deep foot into the end zone. That's twice he's gone deep here. And Herbie, here are the Dr. Pepper impact players for Texas.
Yeah, we've talked about the receivers. We know about Jordan Shipley. Comes in tonight with 99 receptions on the year. Remarkable. But the growth of these two, starting with Malcolm Williams, number 9, you'll see him get some one-on-one opportunities to the split side all by himself. He's got to make plays. And James Kirkendall, these last 3 or 4 games, has really emerged, and I think is taking a lot of the pressure off of Jordan Shipley, who is lined up predominantly in the slot.
I could just feel fans from Cincinnati and those at TCU saying, keep it going, Huskers. Keep it going. Colt McCoy steps off to the right. Underneath throw to Trey Newton, the redshirt freshman that played at a great high school here in Texas, South Lake. Gomes, who is the defensive back out of Hayward, California, for the Cornhuskers.
This Nebraska defense has a mindset very similar to what Oklahoma challenged Texas with their, it's called a matchup zone, which means they're going to take away all the underneath easy throws that Colt McCoy likes to throw to Jordan Shipley and that group of receivers.
2nd and 6, and they come back with power, and Newton stopped by Jared Crick. And Ndamukong Suh, Herbie, gets all the notoriety, but do not overlook number 94. Crick is an outstanding running mate, but
And they feel that in the future, Crick will become the next Sue. But Sue creates a lot of double teams, and it's freed up Jared Crick for some one-on-one opportunities, and it allowed him to become an all-conference performer this year.
Fozzie Whitaker, the running back next to McCoy, on this 3rd and 5. Both incomplete. This time it's 3 and out for the Black Shirts. A very positive start for Nebraska.
This is what Bo Pelini wants to do. Get creative. There he comes on a corner blitz. Amu Kamara, the defensive back, corner blitz, getting creative, mixing up the looks, trying to get the offensive line and Colt McCoy out of sync and out of rhythm. So far, the first 2 series successful.
Niles Paul, excellent return man, back for Nebraska, staying on his own 35-yard line. There he is right there, number 24. He's got a little giddy up. Tucker low, going to take a bounce for the Horns. Scooped up now. And Paul will make it no further than the 36-yard line. Nebraska 3, Texas nothing. The Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Pregame in this setting, 2-year contract. He played here in Arlington next year. 1st down and 10. Option look by Lee coming down the line. And he keeps it for a yard. Heller was the pitchback, and he got it a little too far to that sideline. You're an expert in the option here, my friend.
Well, one thing any quarterback could tell you is when you run an option on 1st and 10 and you have 9 white jerseys in that box area, it's tough for anybody to execute, and that's what Zach Lee Brent is going to be facing on 1st and 10, and that's why Texas right now doesn't fear Zach Lee in the passing game. They're going to load up to stop the running game, and then when they get him to 3rd down, that's when they're going to put a lot of pressure on Zach Lee.
Sam Acho, number 81, the junior for the Horns, made a fine defensive play there. 2nd down and 9, and Lee now going to come deep down the far side. Intercepted by Gideon. Blake Gideon hauls it in, so it's a pick apiece.
This is what Nebraska has tried to avoid during their 5-game winning streak since the 8-turnover game against Iowa State. Right in the back of the middle of your screen, Gideon playing center field reads the eyes of the quarterback, and Zach Lee's biggest mistake is he threw the ball with too much air, giving Gideon enough time to come over and make the play, and he threw it to the inside instead of the outside of the wide receiver. That is Texas's 22nd interception this year. They had 6 all of last year.
And for Gideon, Herbie, that's his 5th. 1st down and 10, and McCoy's going to put it back up on 1st down. Couldn't find a receiver. Sue closing in from the backside. There is the champ. Sue and his buddy Crick.
This is exactly what Nebraska wants to do. The matchup zone. Take away the underneath throws, the easy throws that Colt McCoy, how many times have we seen him want to get rid of the ball quickly? But when they're covered, you have to hold on to the football, and that allows Nebraska's talented front 4 to get pressure. They want to pressure with 4 and allow the back 7 to be in pass coverage. Again, perfection by Nebraska.
David Snow in the offensive line could not hold up against Sue, so they come in underneath to Danny Buckner, and that'll bring up 3rd down. Amu Kamara making the stop defensively, so he's been in on a couple of early plays defensively. This is going to be 3rd and long. This is not what the Horns and Greg Davis wanted here tonight against this defense.
And Greg Davis told us this week the best way to attack a defense that wants to match up with your underneath throws is eventually you have to do 2 things. Run the ball and beat them downfield with a long pass downfield. There's Greg Davis up top to your left.
5 defensive backs. McCoy waits, near side, intercepted, picked off. That is the 2nd interception. Amu Kamara. And now you talked about the Horns. Well, the Cornhuskers with these 2, they now have 18 interceptions on the season.
Shipley is his primary receiver. Watch Shipley off the ball. Colt McCoy on 3rd down wants to get the football to him, but even if he did, he's covered. Look at the coverage and the recognition right now by Nebraska's defense. It's almost as if they're in the huddle with Texas and they know what's coming every time Colt McCoy goes back to throw.
That was really close on that sideline, and that's going to be stopped. They're going to take another look at this. When we saw it live, I thought it was very close. The crowd here, the Texas crowd on this side, they were shouting
play is under
incomplete.
further review.
So let's see if a foot came down.
Allen actually getting the pressure there again.
A great work by his left toe is down.
Yeah.
Great work.
Great call on the field.
Yes, it was. The official right there. Watch number 21's left foot right there. Yep. Toe down. That's a brilliant piece of work. He, like so many of the youngsters from out of state, Amukamara from Glendale, Arizona, playing in that secondary.
Further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Interception. First down.
And that's his 5th.
Brett, we can't say it enough. Nebraska's defensive game plan is to take away the easy throws from Colt McCoy, which is an extension, really, of their running game. Those quick throws that McCoy wants to be able to utilize, they're taking those away, making him hold the ball. He has nowhere to go with the football in these first few series.
Zach Lee and the Huskers, they will start in Longhorn territory. Up by a field goal if you just joined us. Hello, the running back, fine second effort. And he got halfway to that first down, busting across the 40-yard line.
That's what it's going to take, is second and third effort. And Rex Burkhead, the true freshman, when he's been in there, and of course the junior, Roy Halou. I mean, you're going to run into a wall. You got to keep moving your feet and try to get your offense into. This is one of those offenses that needs to be in 2nd and 6 and 3rd and 2nd. They can't afford to deal with long down and distances.
Chucky Brown is playing the right defensive corner instead of Curtis Brown right now on second down. Hello. And again, a second effort. This will be 3rd and short, and this is the sort of distance, Herbie, that the Cornhuskers won on their 3rd downs here tonight.
Yeah, they've got to stay on schedule. Saying earlier that this is an offense that just has to just eventually move the ball down the field. It's not going to be flashy. The only time you'll see them flashy is on 1st and 10 when they mix in a little bit of play action just to keep Texas's defense honest by getting it downfield. But let's see again. Let's see who wins this battle in the short yardage.
Hello is the I-back. Lugate is the lead fullback. Need a yard. The middle of that Texas defensive line has been stout here early. They're going to throw on it. 3rd down, in trouble. Has to throw it away, and here is 4th down, and a decision to be made by Pelini and the Cornhuskers.
He had the tight end right away. McNeil, the H-back, actually slips out. Actually, it's Drew Young slips out. Earl Thomas comes over, but if the pressure would not have been able to submerge Zach Lee, I think he would have been able to pick up the 1st down there. But a good job by Texas at penetrating the offensive line.
And that was Keyston Randall, Herbie, number 91, the sophomore from Beaumont, Texas, who was bringing the heat. And here it is, a 52-yard attempt. Remember, I told you he's hit a 57-yarder. He whacks it. Looks like he's got it. Brilliant. 2 field goals for Alex Henry, the junior from Omaha, and the Black Shirts, a 2-touchdown underdog, lead it by 6. MetLife is providing these dramatic views of Cowboys Stadium of the Dallas, Texas area. MetLife provides coverage of major sporting events while also providing you with guarantees for the ifs in your life. Folks, you're never without a television monitor in this beautiful stadium. There are 3,000 flat screens, 2 huge screens along the side, and look at the size that you get to check from the end zone seats. And because of those, you never have a bad seat in Cowboys Stadium. It is a thing of beauty. This one to the goal line now, and here comes Goodwin. He's got breakout speed, but they nail him at the 21. Good special teams coverage. Well, the Bulls selection special powered by Chevy Silverado on ESPN tomorrow night at 8. Join Reese Davis and the gang. They'll dissect and analyze the matchups of all 34 Bull games. Here tonight we are concentrating on the last one, the BCS championship game. Congratulations to Nick Saban and Alabama. They win the SEC. They'll be there. If Texas wins this, they'll be there. If Nebraska upsets Texas, stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. It'll be close between TCU and Cincinnati. 1st down and 10, and a penalty flag is thrown. That's a false start. This is coming back.
Dead ball. False start. Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That is Kirkendall. He's been coming on the last couple of weeks too, Herbie.
Absolutely.
You know, he's had 3 touchdowns in the Horns' last couple of games, but here tonight he has dropped one and now a false start. No excuse for a wide receiver to have a false start. You know that. First down and 15. Running hard to the right, has to throw it away, and he was being flushed from that pocket as Barry Turner and Sue were coming across.
Yeah, right now, evaluating and watching Texas in these first few series, quite simply, they're just getting whipped up front in the battle in the trenches. Nebraska doing a great job of winning that battle. But Nebraska's playing with one linebacker. If Texas wants to get some rhythm going, they're going to have to do one of two things. Run the football into the one linebacker look with 6 defensive backs, or you've got to get vertical by throwing the football downfield to either Marquise Goodwin, James Kirkendall, or Malcolm Williams.
The Horns wanted the football changed, and that's why we had the stoppage. Second and 15. They go empty. They spread the field. Here comes pressure on the blitz, and nothing doing as Sue will stand up the receiver who didn't have a chance, and that was young Goodwin. And because of Gomes pressuring, there was no chance.
Well, right now they're confused up front. The Nebraska defense is doing such a great job of disguising the looks, and because that time they had 7 defensive backs in the game, 4 down linemen and 7 defensive backs, and I think because they have so many different looks and personnel, it's really affecting the continuity and the communication of the pass protection of Texas's offensive line.
3rd and 17 for McCoy. He'll come underneath, juggled, and dropped. Incomplete. Williams couldn't hold on that time.
Tell you, this reminds me of the Texas-Oklahoma game the last time we were in the city of Dallas, when Oklahoma's defense had their way with Texas's offense early in that game by mixing up the looks and confusing Colt McCoy and the offensive line, and they really didn't find any rhythm until the second half.
Tucker will punt it, and there stands Niles Paul. He's had 1 punt return for a touchdown this year. He'll field this one. Remember the last one he had to pick up on a couple of bounces. He's standing on the Cornhuskers' 46-yard line. Rocket ship. High bounce out of bounds, and it looks like it's going to be marked at about the 38-yard line, and that's where they will put it in play. Herbie, what about the battle of field position here tonight?
The early part of this football game, Bo Pelini telling us all week that their defense had to create the short field to give their offense a chance to have confidence and to get themselves to believe. Well, right now Nebraska's starting right around midfield with their first few possessions. They've been able to come up with a couple big turnovers to get the ball and go down and come up with 6 points. But if this were to continue, this is exactly what Nebraska wants.
Let me correct myself. That ball is out at the 34-yard line. That's where they marked it. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Zach Lee and the Huskers. Burkhead back in as the I-back. Play fake. They're going to throw on first under pressure. In underneath, but they still pick up about 3 yards.
Again, it's not a huge gain, but it's just showing Will Muschamp in Texas that they're not afraid on 1st and 10 to break the tendencies and to throw the football. Not a big gain, but it's effective, not only because you pick up some yards, but you send a message to Will Muschamp, again, the linebackers and the safeties, to make them freeze just for a bit and make them appreciate that aspect of the offense.
And the freshman, then Travius Robinson, made the most of that, picking up 4 yards. They had 2 I-backs on the field. And on 2nd down, they come back with Burkhead. And again, they're moving toward that 3rd and short, which is exactly what Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator, wanted here tonight. There is Sean over on the far side. Many of you realize he worked for a long time with Gary Barnett, when Barnett was the head coach of Colorado. Fine young man. He and Tom Osborne had some long conversations about bringing a little bit more power into this offense, something that Tom certainly knows something about as coach, now the athletic director. So here is that 3rd and 2, a manageable 3rd down for the Huskers. Zach straight back, has time, fires complete, got the first down. And that is Paul, Niles Paul, the receiver, and that's textbook.
That is. This is what they want to do with this offense. And Paul is their most athletic receiver, but this time he's just going to settle in right where the linebackers are, find an empty spot. But this is why they want it. It's 2nd and 6 and 3rd and 2, because they got that first down by half a yard. They need every yard they can get to give themselves a chance to be effective. As Tom Osborne looks on, very happy to see what's happening here in the early part of this game.
Hello is back with Lee. Option. Lee keeping it all the way. Didn't get much, and we will get a lot here. We'll go to New York and Matt Weiner. Matt. And Matt, here, 2 Nebraska field goals following interceptions thrown by Colt McCoy, and the Cornhuskers lead it 6-0 with 2:57 to go in the opening quarter.
Got a free play here.
Movement in the middle of that defensive line that time, and so Hellu try to get 6 if he can, and
offside. Defense, interior lineman, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
This is what they need to be able to execute. And, you know, I think Zach Lee's been an interesting story this year. Young man who was thought to really be a strength for this offense, struggled against Texas Tech and especially Iowa State, was benched. The following week came back to finish the game against Oklahoma and has played very well in their last 3 games. And just kind of managing the game and making good decisions.
2nd down and 3. Young, tight end, goes in motion and back slipped. And the reason why he slipped is Kendall was headed through his direction. Sergio Kendall, number 2. And when he appears on the radar screen, folks, uh-oh, is all you can say.
Especially when you don't block him. If you're not going to block Sergio Kendall, he will explode into the backfield, and Hellu did not have a chance. And instead of being in that 3rd to short, now they're in a little bit of a tougher situation to execute against this Texas defense. Let's see if Will Muschamp decides to get creative with a blitz package or a rush 3 and drop 8 into coverage.
Gillian is the slot receiver on this 3rd and 7 with the top of your screen. Comes back near side high, incomplete, and this time Nebraska will be forced to punt. And Alex Henry is a very good positional punter, and this year he has been burying teams inside the 20. 26 of his 65 punts have been down inside the 20-yard line. Young man at practice, and then earlier today was, of course, every punter who comes in here has got to take a crack at Jerry's big replay board, and after hitting it along with the Texas punter, they were both warned by the PA announcer that's a no-no. 4th down and 7. Shipley is back deep. Fair catch inside the 10-yard line at the 9. So he buries the horns back inside that 10-yard line in this battle of field position. There's their drives. You can see the 2 interceptions leading to field goals and punting. They have not done much here.
I'm going to be very surprised if the adjustment from Greg Davis out to Colt McCoy isn't to run the football, to try to take control of the line of scrimmage and try to run at the strength of Nebraska's defense, which is their defensive line. They're going to have to be able to do that to be able to get any kind of rhythm going right now with this offense.
They're going to do just that with Newton. Edge on the outside. Amo Kamara. He's already got an interception here tonight. He's made a couple of tackles, and he makes another stop.
And Bo Pelini, like any defensive mind, wants to make a team one-dimensional so then he can get creative and exotic with his blitz packages. One way to make them not be able to make you one-dimensional is get a little bit more committed to trying to run the football. Make them respect that aspect of your game.
This time Colt will keep it himself. Big gap on the left to the 30-yard line, and a first down for the Longhorns. McCoy, of course, many of you saw on that Thursday night, exploding 65 yards for a touchdown. Here's 14, Irving. And they come picks up 9 yards on first down.
Here we go. 3 straight plays running the football. Now they get their tempo going. They pick up a first down. They're trying to get Nebraska on their heels.
And Newton slips. And that'll bring up a 3rd down. Trey Newton, his daddy, believe it or not, Nate, who was an offensive lineman and a big rascal for the Dallas Cowboys. You might remember him. Yeah, clearly Trey takes after his mama. They're down at 4 now. And we have a little stoppage here with the officials. The field judges coming in to our referee, back judge, I should say.
Before you say
of the opening quarter. 3rd down and 4.
Keep an eye on Jordan Shipley here. It's his go-to man on 3rd and short.
Comfortable in the slot. McCoy looks away. Comes back to the flat, and they lose yardage on that play. Newton is hit by Philip Dillard, perhaps the best lineman at Nebraska. He's a senior from Tulsa, and he had the swing man all the way. As we come to the end of the first quarter here at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas, this presentation of the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship for win. 8 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Nebraska leading on the strength of 2 field goals following 2 Colt McCoy interceptions. And now on 4th down, Nebraska will call back deep. Tucker blocked. They now have blocked a punt here on the Horns, and they're going to get the ball in Texas territory. Punt is blocked on the down at the 37-yard line, and Eric Martin, number 46 right there, blocked it for the Cornhuskers.
Well, this is amazing to see the rugby-style punt ever blocked, because that's why you usually do it. Coaches around the country have used this because it's effective in getting a good roll, and usually you don't even have to worry about that. But what an amazing effort that time by Barton, who worked around Nolan Brewster to be able to pick up another big play for Nebraska. Special teams and defense, the key for the Cornhuskers to give this offense a short field.
The junior from Danville, Roy Heller, back in as the I-back. Play fake, and Zach is going to throw it. Going to go for it right after the block punt. Paul battle, end zone, intercepted. Picked off by Williams. Aaron Williams, his 3rd interception of the season. He picks it off, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line.
Aaron Williams, the top defensive back. Bo Pelini electing to go after it after the big break. Going for the big play. Niles Paul has to slow down and wait for the ball. It gives Williams plenty of time. And for young defensive backs, Aaron Williams not only did a good job of turning his body, but he read the eyes of the receiver, Niles Paul. And when Niles Paul looked up for the football, that told Aaron Williams to look back. And a huge, huge play for Texas.
Shipley will open this series in the slot for Colt McCoy. Trey Newton is off to the quarterback's left. And they'll open with Newton behind the middle of the line, and a fine gain on 1st down here for the Longhorns.
I think Greg Davis is seeing the same thing that we've been talking about. The adjustment to this matchup zone from the Nebraska defense is run the football.
They go quickly. McCoy has to throw it away. Under pressure from Pierre Allen that time, the junior from Denver, Colorado, was applying heat on the quarterback, and that leaves him with 3rd down and 4.
It's a contrast in styles defensively. Nebraska doesn't feel threatened by Texas in their running game. They're completely locked into Colt McCoy and his wide receivers. And, of course, Nebraska, when they're on offense, Texas's defense is locked in on their running game.
On 3rd down, McCoy forced out of the pocket, comes in underneath. And that, of course, is to his buddy Shipley, who picked up the 1st down.
Dillard, the linebacker right here, is going to look up Jordan Shipley and just completely take him out of the play. The problem is Shipley's used to that. He makes an adjustment. Colt McCoy buys a little bit of time, but you can see the attention that Shipley demands, especially on 3rd down. Good job working to get open.
This time McCoy able to stay in the pocket, hits Buckner, and Buckner picked up about 8 yards on that pass play on first down. But it was the protection that time.
Yeah, Brent, and when you run the football, it has a tendency to slow down that talented defensive line. But Dan Buckner really has not been a big part of this offense since spraining his knee against Wyoming. The coaches said this week has been his best week of practice since that injury, and he can still be a big part of the offense.
Come back with Newton, and he is stoned. Talk about a stout defense as Gomes comes up and just ripped him down that time. The junior from Hayward, California. He has blitzed here tonight and put heat on McCoy. Now he comes up and makes that stop. Nebraska is built around this defense, and that, of course, is Bo Pelini's specialty, and it is really keeping this team in the thick of things here tonight. McCoy will be back in the gun. Here's a 3rd and 2, and they go empty in the backfield, and they spread it out with 5 receivers.
There's some confusion there. Bo Pelini actually had to call the timeout. It's like Cameron Meredith was trying to run off the field. Bo Pelini before the potential of having 12 guys on the field. Just miscommunication.
And one of the things he had to be concerned about when they spread that field is Colt McCoy taking off and running for the first down. That was something he was. Well, the USC defense had not allowed an opposing team to rush for 200 yards in 46 straight games. Vince Young did it all by himself in that classic. Play number 1 will be revealed at the Rose Bowl on January 1st. It will begin at 4:30 Eastern on ABC. 3rd down and 2. McCoy rolling to the right. Great coverage with Sue coming up at the end of that play. You could see number 93 was closing in, and Gomes again.
Kirkendall motion to give a little bit of confusion potentially for Nebraska, and he's going to go out in the flat. Shipley's going to come out here, but I want you to look at the coverage and how dialed in this Nebraska defense is. Where can Colt McCoy go? He has nowhere to go with the football other than to just eat the football and lose the yardage. Great job of recognizing the routes again by Nebraska.
There might be a wrist injury here. He came off, and I think there's some pain down there. I think his head down. We could have a problem with Colt McCoy. This punt by Tucker is going to be marked at the 19-yard line. Let us, Herbie, take a look at this.
It's obviously towards the end of the play after Gomes makes the play. Big push by Sue, and he comes right down. We'll have to take a very close look at this when we come back.
Well, there's the championship trophy. They'll be awarded at the conclusion of this game to either Texas or Nebraska. Cornhuskers lead it by 2 field goals, and this is their backup I-back, the freshman from Plano, Texas, Rex Burkhead. All right, let's go back and take a look at this collision by McCoy over on that sideline.
Meredith and Sue, a big, strong push there late. He goes into it in Nebraska. Looks like staff member. Of course, Bo Pelini's fired up, but we watched him very closely when he came over to the Texas bench, wondering if there might be something seriously wrong, but it looks like, based on the way he's acting, he's okay. You can see the left wrist getting a little bit of extra attention.
2nd and 9. And Burkhead not going far. When you look at the offensive output by Nebraska in this game, you say, can this defense hold up? They have only 35 yards of offense, 8 passing yards, and 27 rushing yards. Texas, on the other hand, has 65. Of course, both offenses have been stalled with 2 interceptions apiece. But now here comes the 3rd down, and Nebraska's given no indication that they can come up with big plays of this kind on 3rd and 8. So let's see what Zach Lee and the Cornhuskers are able to do here. Middle drop, incomplete. Had Paul coming across. He was being chased by Shockey Brown.
Man coverage, Shockey Brown up against Niles Paul. The big thing here, in a route that takes this long, if you need time, there's the blitz. Good job of picking it up. Zach Lee has just enough time but the ball snuck up and surprised Niles Paul. If Zach Lee would have had just a split second longer to throw the football, it would have given Paul enough time to be able to make that catch.
And the Huskers are now 1 of 6 on third downs, but the good news is the defense has held the Horns to 1 of 6 on third down. So Henry booms one. Shipley back to the 36-yard line, trying to get wide on the left, and he is ridden down at the Texas 42. So we'll take a break. Texas fans quiet, and with good reason. Cowboy Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Huge crowd on hand here tonight. Nebraska has always traveled well, and of course many of Texas' finest fans live right in the neighborhood. First down and 10 for Colt McCoy. They trail it by 2 field goals. Here's Newton on a cutback. Got about a yard or so, and well, I'll tell you what, the pursuit of the black shirts, and when one man hits you for Nebraska, 2 more quickly follow. And that time Asante and Steinkuhler along with Dillard.
Very impressed with the overall speed of this defense. We came in respecting their defensive line led by Sue, but the linebacker Philip Dillard, and you're looking at a lot of times 6 defensive backs. Great versatility from Eric Hagg and DeJuan Gomes tonight.
2nd and 8, and Newton is slowed up. Busts off the first would-be tackler, and one of the few times we've seen a gain after somebody is hit. Asante finally cleans up on the play.
And if you haven't seen a lot of Nebraska this year, this isn't a shock necessarily. They're 3rd in the nation in scoring defense. If you go back to the year before Bo Pelini came to Lincoln, you know, they're 115th in the nation in scoring defense, and 2 years later, they're 3rd in the nation in scoring defense.
Man-knows defense, no question about that. 3rd down and 5 for McCoy. Remember, they are 1 of 6 on 3rd down. Make it 1 of 7.
Prince, Amu Kamara here, the corner, great job of sitting just at the first down marker. He knew that Marquise Goodwin was just looking to pick up an easy route and an easy first down. And Amu Kamara that time just sitting there waiting for him and did not continue to get depth. He stayed right at that marker waiting for Goodwin. Good job.
So Tucker back on the field for the Horns, and Paul is back deep, standing at the, well, Nebraska, let's make it the 15-yard line. That low line drive, bouncing punt. It'll go out of bounds, and we'll see where the officials are going to mark it. Inside the 20-yard line, a fine punt. We'll take a break. Low scoring here tonight, huh? The battle for the Big 12 trophy, which will be awarded tonight to either Texas or Nebraska. And right now the Cornhuskers lead it by a couple of field goals. We have a huge crowd on hand here tonight at the Cowboys' gorgeous new facility. Nebraska's longest gain, Herbie, of the night is 7 yards. That was their first offensive play. Hello's 7-yard run. That's their longest play of the night. They come back with the running play, and they don't get that on first down. As we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, defense.
Defense, and so far textbook for Nebraska to be able to pull off an upset. The takeaways that they had to come up with, they have 2 takeaways. The difference is they were able to generate some points. Average starting field position. They've been doing a great job of winning that battle. The discipline that they've played with throughout this game. They don't have a penalty yet tonight. It's exactly what they have to do against a team that has more ability in Texas.
See if the Huskers can get number 44, Mike McNeil, their tight end, involved here. He comes in their number 2 receiver. He's been quiet. 2nd down and 8. Zach is sacked at the 9-yard line. Sam Acho, number 81, with his 9th sack of the season. One of the Acho brothers.
And Roy Halou, the tailback 10, tries to come up with a block, but Acho is too quick off of the football. I don't think Halou expected Acho to get upfield in such a hurry. He recognized that it was play action. Not play action, just recognizing the quarterback rolling towards him. But Roy Halou that time not doing a very good job of taking the right angle to come up and being able to slow down Sam Acho.
Robinson into the backfield. 3rd and 17, and that brings the Horn fans up. quarterback draw just to gain a couple of yards, and then they'll punt it away. Kendall and Sam Acho again bringing the heat, and there's just nothing doing with this offense.
This is why they need a short field to work with tonight. They have 29 yards on the night of total offense. This will be the first time that Texas is going to get great field position for Colt McCoy.
Shipley standing near midfield. He hangs one real high. Fair catch, but it's in Nebraska territory. This time, McCoy will start at the 42. And all right, Herbie, here you come, lad. Tonight's Aflac trivia question. It's a toughie. Colt McCoy had 304 pass and 175 rush. Who are the other two quarterbacks with 300-plus pass and 150-plus yards in a game?
Number one, that is a great question.
There's two others.
And I've heard of them both, right?
Oh, you know them both. One of them you might not remember right off there. I think that this was the tough one. We brought the heat tonight. Time
to
the
championship. You bring it.
On 1st and 10 now. It's up to McCoy, and this time he's brought down for a loss. And rolling in on him was Barry Turner, the senior from Tennessee. What an outstanding defensive front these two teams have. Both of them are outstanding.
Yeah, they're dominating the line of scrimmage and making it very tough for Colt McCoy and Texas to execute along with Zach Lee. I mean, look how quick they're able to get penetration. And again, Colt McCoy doesn't have anyone to throw the football to. He's talked so much about Malcolm Williams and Kirkendall growing and developing. Right now, they're not having a chance to show that development.
2nd and 14. McCoy stands middle and a little short of the first down, but complete to Shipley, his roommate and long-time buddy.
Well, that time, both linebackers went wide, and it was the first time tonight that the middle of the field opened up for Colt McCoy, and Shipley, of course, is able to find that hole. Go back to something Greg Davis told us this week, and he said because of appreciation for Nebraska's style of defense, he said being patient is going to be a very important thing for us as an offense.
Lamar Houston comes in as the fullback, and Cody Johnson, the short yardage running back for the Horns, as they'll go power to pick it up, and the big fella does. Right around the 30-yard line. So the Horns on the move here now with another first down.
Bring the big fella in when you need the short yardage. I think this is something that can help Texas and their offensive line, because Sue and Crick, Allen, Turner really whipping them up front. And sometimes you pick up a first down and you start to become the aggressor.
From the 31. Colt kept it. And Sue threw him for a loss of a yard. And Ndamukong Suh, who's going to pick up a lot of hardware. Undoubtedly, he's the leader in all the categories for Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, he fights right through Chris Hall, and he doesn't give up on the play. Look at him. He's fighting off Chris Hall with his left arm, and he wraps up Colt McCoy with his right arm. Look at him fighting off. He's being held, and he still has that right arm with a clothesline to bring in poor Colt McCoy. Woo!
Young man from Portland, Oregon. Quick strike, great grab. 1st and 10, and going up for it was Malcolm Williams.
Amu Kamara, the corner, tried to get physical, but give Malcolm Williams a lot of credit that time as a big target at 6'3". He's able to work free and get to the inside. The first time we've seen a receiver break away from the coverage, get to the inside, and make it easy for Colt McCoy on the throw.
Bosley Whitaker checks in as the running back. He is to McCoy's right. Gets the call. Can he get the edge? He cannot, and tackling in space is a specialty. That is Matt O'Hanlon, the senior from Nebraska, and watch this tackle in space. Textbook.
That's beautiful. It looked like Whitaker might be able to pick some yards up because he outran Philip Dillard to the corner, but how about Matt O'Hanlon, who's been a playmaker all year for the Huskers defense, coming up again and making a great play.
Now 2nd and 10. Newton's the check down receiver. McCoy rolling hard, out of bounds. Barry Turner in pursuit, and here comes third down.
Nowhere to go again that time for Colt McCoy. This defense very well schooled in what to expect from the routes and the route adjustments from Colt's group of wide receivers. And as good as Colt McCoy is, Brent, because of this route recognition, everybody is covered by a red jersey, and the only thing he has left to do is try to create.
3rd and 13. Texas empties out the backfield. McCoy fires end zone. Penalty is called. Buckner was the receiver, and the defender was Eric Hagg, and the penalty flag is thrown.
Pass interference. Defense number 25. The foul's in the end zone. The ball be placed on the 2-yard line. First down.
It's number 28.
Yeah, Eric Hagg is on coverage. Brent, he's in great position, but because he did not turn around to recognize where the football was, the officials will call pass interference every single time, and Texas catches a break and gets a good opportunity here now inside the 5-yard line.
And the officials confer here.
The previous spot was on the 19-yard line. 15-yard penalty puts the ball on the 4.
And there it will be for first and goal. And what Pelini wondered is why wasn't that half the distance? First down and goal from the 4. Newton to the 2, and it will be second down and goal. Gomes making another stop. You would think that pretty soon we'd see Cody Johnson come in this situation, and they would go power. And here he comes, the sophomore from Waller, Texas.
Still 3 wide receivers in the game, along with the big tight end Greg Smith.
And they put him to McCoy's left rather than work out of the eye with the lead fullback. And they're going to give it to the quarterback behind him, and McCoy trying to get to the end zone. Touchdown. The first touchdown of the evening.
Colt McCoy following Cody Johnson's block on Phillip Dillard, and then he just has to fight for every single inch to be able to pick up this first down. It's one of the few times we've seen Texas get a push on that Nebraska front 4.
Hunter Lawrence to give Texas the lead. And I believe they're going to look at it upstairs just to make sure that it broke the planes. They want just a little bit more time.
Ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Well, after that 31-yard punt by Nebraska, Herbie, that was only a 42-yard drive, and that is certainly what the Longhorns needed.
Yeah, it's been a game of field position for both these teams. With the offenses struggling, when they've had their opportunities within pretty good field position, they've been able to capitalize. But think about if you're both playing Nebraska, if this ends up being 7-6 at the end of this first half, as well as they have played, to still be down potentially at the half.
Hunter Lawrence. But it has been one-sided excellence.
Yes.
The Nebraska offense has only 29 yards. They're going to help out.
Yes, they do.
Well, you get 4 Aflac stars if you nail this one. So, Herbie, here's my answer sheet.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Would you have gotten Marcus Tuiasosopo? I thought you might get Woody Danton.
I would have gone Charlie Ward or maybe Vince Young.
Vince Young, I thought that's who I guessed. Yeah, I forgot.
I thought you were
out of Washington.
That's why we're in Dallas with the Longhorns. I thought
we
maybe
double-crossed you.
You did.
It was not fair.
No. I'll prep.
I'll be fair in Pasadena.
I'll be ready for.
I promise.
Okay. I mean, you made it the whole universe. Every team in the country.
But you're my all-universe analyst. It is fielded on the 5 by Marlowe now for the Cornhuskers. And he is down at the 26-yard line. So there they are, and what a night McCoy had against Texas A&M. I'm going to make a point right now because everybody thought that McCoy elevated himself to #1 on the Heisman list. It is my feeling here tonight, Mr. Ingram stood very tall in that win by Alabama today over Florida. He rushed for 113 yards and 3 touchdowns. We got a horse race. They're going to vote electronically, and I feel that the majority of votes will be made tomorrow after this weekend of games. I know I haven't voted.
I haven't either. I'll vote tomorrow.
First down and 10. Zach Lee will hand it off to Rex Burkhead, and let us go to New York and Matt Weiner. Matt. And here, Matt, Colt McCoy is 9 of 16, and he has 2 interceptions. And the Huskers still not able to move the football.
Let's go back to something you said heading into the last break about, I said, hey, Nebraska's doing about everything they can do to stay in this game, and yet they're going to be down at the half. And we talked about being one-sided. Their defense is doing it. This offense coming into this game is conservative by nature, and they have to be willing to get away from that to be able to move the football. Will Muschamp's defense is attacking downhill into the running game. And if they're not going to break some of those tendencies, they're not going to have a chance to move the ball.
The Cornhuskers have 2 first downs here tonight. This is 3rd and 7. And they still have only 2 first downs, and they'll have to punt it away. Now, Colt McCoy will have just inside of a minute.
Now, if Bo Pelini were up here, he would say, listen, I've got to win this game with my defense and with special teams and winning the field position battle. And I'm asking my offense just not to lose the game. And the fact that we're in the game is allowing me to stay with that mindset. Now, once you get down, then, of course, you've got to change. But he's trying to just stay in this game.
You've got to have first downs. You ain't staying in this game without first downs. All right. Alex Henry back to punt. What a great leg he has, huh? Shipley's going to have to let this one bounce, and let's see where they mark it. At about the 32-yard line. Well, coming up on the Capital One halftime report, John and Jesse Palmer will have all the day's big highlights. Jesse's alma mater took a big blow, and you couldn't help but feel sorry for Tim Tebow and his big effort to get back to another championship game as you look down on the house that Jerry built. Isn't it interesting, folks, what a $1.2 billion can buy you these days? Look at that. Boy, I've never had such a replay monitor as I have in this stadium.
How about the concourses? It took me 20 minutes to get from the field up to find the booth. Got lost.
Now McCoy back. Knocked and sacked back at the 22-yard line, and Ndamukong Suh. What a presence.
If this defense can keep playing like this for 4 quarters, they're going to be able to hang around. This is another great film for the NFL experts to be able to break down, just overpowering Michael Huey in this offensive line. I mean, to take him on one-on-one, it's just not fair to ask the junior Huey to match up with Suh.
2.5 sacks here already.
You know what? The other thing about him is his awareness. He leads the team in tackles.
Herbie, they put together the hardware list.
Give them all to him. It's a clean.
Look at that. Huh?
It's a clean slate.
He could win.
Give them all to him.
Every one of those. He's just having one of those phenomenal, unworldly type seasons. And
his big prize will come in April.
Listed #1.
His big prize will be in April.
Kuiper has him #1 on the big board.
That's a big trophy.
Because, defensive linemen, the NFL will go for those rascals along with left tackles and quarterbacks. Those are the positions that they certainly look for. And how about this, Herbie? At the halftime, we've got the Dr. Pepper throw for scholarship dough. Got a couple of lady finalists, and they're going to go head-to-head for a chance to take home $123,000 tuition. Down in Atlanta today, A young woman upset a young man.
Wow.
And she picked up 123 grand down there.
Impressive.
It was very impressive.
Well, I'll
she was
stay tuned.
steady. You know, the young man was firing. He was firing those balls up there, and she just kind of took her time.
Just shot put. Just a little shot put.
So there we are. There you can see how well this Nebraska defense is playing here tonight, and they rank right up there with the Alabamas. You know, after our first game, you and I talked about how good Saban's
way back early September
defense was, and I think Nebraska ranks right up there with it.
I think a lot of people wondered if they put stats up against average offenses and would they get exposed a little bit tonight. But man, I think they're making a statement that they are one of the top defenses in the country. This defense is outstanding.
There's that inside shuttle pass, and Newton breaks free. Breaks the daylight and stepped out at that first down marker. Fine move by Trey Newton, the redshirt freshman.
It's the second time this play has worked for Colt McCoy because of the quickness of the defensive line and the fact that they're just pinning their ears back coming after Colt McCoy. You flip it underneath to Newton, and he has plenty of room. If he can make one linebacker miss, he's going to get upfield. That was a big first down here. They're thinking points.
14 yards on that 3rd and 13. They've got 15 seconds to work with. Now he'll try to strike. Far side, coming back is Shipley. That should be another first down. Clock will stop briefly, but they've only got 8 seconds. They've got to hurry.
Got to call a timeout. He's got 2 timeouts left. Get a timeout here. Still have 1 to work with.
Goodwin, the speedsters, available to Mac Brown. Number 84, if they wish to try and strike. I guess with 8 seconds, Herbie, can they work the sideline and use that timeout and get the field goal unit on the field if they get downfield, shorter than the end zone?
Yeah, the great thing is the experience of Colt McCoy here. And because you have the 1 timeout, you don't necessarily have to get to the sideline. You can work wherever you feel you have the best matchup. And it's really, when you're going against Nebraska's defense, it's winning one-on-one matchups. And if they're going to double team Jordan Shipley, and Malcolm Williams or James Kirkendall's got to be able to get free against man-to-man coverage. But 1 timeout, you make about a 15-yard completion here, and you got a shot at a field goal.
Kirkendall, Shipley, Williams are the wideouts. Under pressure. It breaks down. Throws it out of bounds as time runs out here on the first half. So the Texas Longhorns will take a 1-point lead into the locker room. 7-6, and let's go down to Lisa. All right, Lisa, thank you. A 1-point, low-scoring first half as we send it to the Times Square studio. John Saunders and Jesse Palmer for the Capital One Halftime Report.